And right now on News 4 at 6, getting involved. The Erie County DA says it's time to take action after a priest accused of sex abuse resigns. Who the DA is asking to hear from tonight.
Well, the heat, the humidity, and the gusty winds are likely to arrive again tomorrow, or at least stay for tomorrow. We are going to be tracking a chance for showers and storms. We'll have the latest coming up.
And time is ticking for Tesla to hold up its end of the bargain for Solar City. The company announced it would stay publicly traded, but what other loose ends need to be tied? News 4 Investigates has a special report tonight.
Live in high definition, this is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 6.
The Erie County District Attorney says it's time to step in after the resignation of a Buffalo priest. Father Yetter resigned yesterday following allegations of sex abuse.
Leaders of the diocese say the latest case may involve a child. News 4's Marissa Perlman tells us how his resignation is affecting Yetter's parish.
People are so heartbroken at our parish, I don't even know if they can take anymore.
Paul Snyder, deacon of St. Mary's of Swarmville, says his parishioners are in crisis. He says he's received hundreds of emails, concerns about what else might come out after their own pastor, Father Yetter, is accused of sexual abuse and one claim from a minor.
People are outraged, they're shocked. I've heard things like, I don't know if I can trust any priests. I've lost my faith. I'm leaving this parish and the Catholic Church forever.
Amid calls for his resignation, Bishop Richard Malone called for change at a press conference Sunday.
Today, I promise you action.
Promising new procedures for dealing with claims of sexual abuse of adult parishioners, like the claims brought forth against Father Robert Yetter through a task force. We asked the diocese what that panel would look like. In a statement, leaders told us the bishop and his key advisors began meeting yesterday about the task force. They have identified a few candidates, and there have been some recommendations. They would like to establish this sooner rather than later.
I assure the minor's family, the victim's family here, that I will, thoroughly investigate it.
Meanwhile, Erie County DA John Flynn says he will investigate the allegation that Father Yetter abused a child, and he's asking that victim to come forward and, quote, call him. He also says there's a possibility church leaders could face criminal charges.
If a administrator knew about a priest engaging in some type of sexual crime and they moved that priest or hid that in some way, there potentially would be a hindering prosecution charge.
And there's also the possibility of charges for endangering the welfare of a child, but both of those charges fall under the statute of limitations. Flynn says there are no active investigations involving any priest and a minor at this time. Marissa Perlman, News 4.
Marissa, thanks. We'll take a look at your screen right now. Crime Stoppers needs your help tonight to find this man. Officials say 65-year-old Anthony Mendola is wanted for predatory sexual assault against a child. A reward of up to $2,500 is being offered for information leading to his arrest. If you know anything, you're asked to call or text Crime Stoppers at 867-6161.
And let's turn to the weather now. We're feeling hot right here in Western New York with temperatures in the 80s today. The splash pads and the cooling centers are all open and they're running now. Along with the heat, though, there were those strong winds. And we've seen some pretty powerful gusts move through our area today, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. A lot of different things going on here today. Forewarned Chief Meteorologist Todd Santos is standing by, tracking this all for us tonight, Todd.
Yeah, and we're going to hang on to the very muggy conditions tonight. Again, we'll only drop back into the upper 70s. Thing is, you couldn't even get away from the heat by going to the lake. I mean, there's a little bit of relief, but even in this shot, the lighthouse right now reporting 80 degrees, winds out of the west-southwest, 16 gusting to 19. So, yes, it's breezy, and we've had some bigger gusts both on the lake and inland. 47 was the highest gust at the airport today. So, yes, breezy, confirmed. Here's a look at the heat index currently across Western New York, where we do still have some areas feeling like the 90s. Northern Erie County was dropped out of the heat advisory, but there are still a few areas under it. I think at this point, it's just more of a heads up. Hey, it's still hot, so just be safe. You're going to be out there exerting yourself. Take plenty of breaks, drink plenty of water, loose-fitting clothes, light colors, that sort of thing should help out at least some. But, I mean, at this point, we're in August. I think most of us know how to stay cool. And there's a look at the heat advisories that go until 8 p.m. tonight. Right now, it doesn't look like we'll get quite to the level to trigger an advisory for tomorrow, but it's going to feel just about the same. So if it was too hot for you today, kind of think of some good ways to stay cool tomorrow. Temperature-wise, here are our actual temperatures across Western New York. Now, keep in mind, we've started to see these numbers dropping a little bit because here it is 6 o'clock in the evening, but it is still toasty out there. Wind gusts, I mentioned some of the bigger ones, but notice we're still seeing some gusts into the upper 20 to near 30-mile-per-hour range, including areas right around the immediate lakeshore, but especially as you get to the higher elevations just a little ways inland. For the satellite and radar, not seeing much here in Western New York right now. There have been a few showers trying to get going along and say in and just west of Hamilton. They don't have a great chance. So for most of tonight, we should be quiet. I'll talk about one exception coming up, but in general, this is our next chance for rain showers, and it looks like quite a bit of a mess there. There is a cold front in there, and that's going to be on our doorstep later tomorrow evening. So I think by this time tomorrow evening, we will be tracking showers and thunderstorms for a good stretch of Western New York. But at least for tonight, pretty quiet. We'll still see some nice big breaks in the cloud cover, so mainly clear. Staying muggy, though. The lower end of this range is really only for those of you down in the southern hills. The rest of us will only bottom out in just about the mid and upper 70s. Breeze backs off a little bit. We'll check in on tomorrow's thunderstorm chances and timing coming up next.
Tesla's CEO Elon Musk says he won't take the company private after hearing from shareholders. That is one uncertainty that's been cleared up, but the company has other challenges like making a profit.
And tonight, News 4's Luke Moretti continues looking at the future of the car and energy company, especially Solar City right here in Buffalo.
There it sits, the giant Solar City factory in South Buffalo.
The vast majority of the facility is not being used.
State Assemblyman Ray Walter had a chance to see the facility from the inside.
When we're looking at where is Tesla's focus, it is not on the solar business right now. It's clearly on the car side.
State Assemblyman Sean Ryan also got a tour of the factory.
We're all optimistic. We all want this to work. But we really want Tesla to really put their shoulder into this factory.
There's a lot on the line. A $750 million state subsidy package for the building and equipment. In exchange, Tesla hits job creation targets over the next several years. 1,400 plus jobs in Buffalo by April 2020 and 5,000 workers in the state after 10 years. If those targets aren't met, the state can hit Tesla with liquidated damages. Sound like a good deal?
This was a bad idea from the start.
E.J. McMahon is with the Empire Center for Public Policy in Albany. He thinks there are better ways to spend taxpayer money.
If we're going to go borrow $750 million for some capital purpose, it should be for things like roads and bridges. Not for a factory, for some profit-making or hope-to-be profit-making company.
With so much public money at stake, there are also questions about transparency.
The transparency to date has still been kind of tough to get more information about what's going on at Solar City.
Stephen Elwell is vice president of Level Financial Advisors in Amherst. He says the car side of the company is the bread and butter, and that Solar City is an afterthought.
And that can make us a little uncomfortable given the amount of money that was put into the factory that they're building here.
Tesla has said that it plans to ramp production more toward the end of 2018 and that it's working hard to simplify the production and installation process. Empire State Development, the state agency overseeing the project, says more than 600 people have been hired and that Tesla is in compliance with its promised milestones and financial commitments.
Anybody should be able to go on to the state website, type in, whatever project they want, and find out all the information that's available to them.
But if you check the project status on the state's Buffalo Billion website, you get 3 sentences, including this: hundreds of people are on the job at the plant.
When you basically agree to hand the keys to a $750 million factory to a publicly traded private company, why would you expect complete transparency?
Do you worry about transparency in terms of
knowing, or the public knowing, with this huge investment, what's going on over there?
Yeah, I do worry about transparency, and it seems the company as a whole has a real model of secrecy. I invite Tesla to open those factory doors, to let the taxpayers, through the media, to see what's happening in there. I don't think there's anything to hide. I've been in there.
Assemblyman Ray Walter, a Republican, says it's not just Buffalo's Solar City factory.
The entire economic development, program that the governor has been running has not been transparent at all. We need to do a better job in the state legislature to hold them accountable.
There's been a push for reforms, like a public database of deals that spells out state subsidies, who gets them, and the jobs created.
You can't have accountability without transparency.
State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli is pushing for procurement reforms that would give his office back oversight of certain contracts.
I think everybody has the same interest, making sure that money is being spent appropriately, that we're getting the return on the investment.
As for Solar City Tesla, a big return on a big public investment is what everyone is waiting to see. We are working hard to make beneficial use of the state's investment, a Tesla spokesperson recently stated.
We all bought into the optimism of we're going to have roofing shingles that are going to make solar, and we want that to work.
We have all of our eggs in the Tesla basket right now, and that basket is on very shaky ground.
A Tesla spokesperson says the company has always billed the Buffalo facility as a slow, gradual buildup, and that the company is ahead of its job creation and economic impact goals outlined by the state. The spokesperson also hinted that the company is considering a media tour of the Buffalo factory. We'll keep you posted. Luke Moretti, News 4.
All right, thank you, Luke. And if you have a tip that you would like News 4 to investigate, you can call our tip line. That number is 879-4847. Or you can send us an email to investigates@wivb.com. Still ahead at 6, a spectacular return in East Aurora. The famous face atop Vidler's can now see things a little clearer. We're going to take you and give you a look through a different lens coming up next.
And a rookie Buffalo Bill is helping some Hamburg students get ready for the new school year. See how quarterback Josh Allen gave some lucky kids a surprise shopping spree.